Hi. I was just kind of wondering what the experience is of this little thing inside me right now. I already have one child that's 3 years old, and I was just wondering, is there some kind of something that they do in the non-physical that prepares them to come to the physical? Are they aware of me? Do they choose me? Are they from the family that I'm from and my whole family?
Well,
What's it like?
The energy that will predominantly project itself into this baby once it is breathing and on its own is, we want to find a way of expressing this to you, because you're in a very, your question is very well formulated. In other words, you're in a place where you pointedly want to understand this, and so we think we can give it to you in a way beyond that which we've talked about this subject before.
Okay.
Our earlier question about non-physical and the eagerness or the feeling of whoopee, I'm eager to come forth into physical experience. This non-physical energy is always eager to come forth into non-physical experience. Eager in the sense of adventure, and eager in the sense of knowing the deliciousness of the expansion of thought. Not eager in the sense of trying to fix something that's broken, or to try to save the world, or even clarify for the world, but eager in the sense of wanting the experience of expanding thought and taking thought beyond. Well, you, from your own physical awareness, have come to that realization some time ago. So it's logical, isn't it, that a non-physical energy that was really eager to come forth into an environment where they could really explore and expand would be making a very good vibrational match coming forth with you. But it isn't the non-physical energy's determination to put itself in a good place in time that speaks to the calling forth of that energy as much as it is your physical wanting of that. You see, and we say it is certain. In other words, you are summoning forth the energy of teacher, and the experience of the unfolding will be very clear to you, as it is with your other child. In other words, it is the same pure positive energy coming forth for the expression of all is wellness. Now, as far as the energy that is within you, the same energy that maintains your physical apparatus is the energy that is maintaining the apparatus of this fetus. In other words, it's all coming forth from a stream. We appreciate it very much when you acknowledge that this non-physical energy is not clumps of energy that are like lightning being shot to you. It's a stream of non-physical energy. It is a stream of consciousness. And the same stream that is projecting itself to you and through you is projecting itself to and through this baby that is growing inside of you. Now, what else are you wanting about this?
Well, I guess I wanted to know if it was of the same family, and when you're in the non-physical, for instance, I lost my father 2 years ago, are we all of the same family because we chose to come down together, or do we choose to come from different families to learn different things?
Well, this business of families of consciousness, physical beings are receiving this non-physical block of thought and articulating it for the point of helping to bridge the misunderstanding between the physical and the non-physical. We're wanting to downplay a little bit this idea of families of consciousness, because physical beings more often than not use it as another reason to faction. In other words, I'm this family and you're that family. I'm this Republican Party, you're that Democratic. I'm this religion. And we are wanting to soften those lines, because it is all non-physical energy that is dancing together for the purpose of taking thought beyond that which it has been before. You see, and we're not saying this to you because this energy is not an exact match to your energy. It is. We're saying this to you because we want that not to matter so much. In other words, we want you to accept that every physical being on this planet is your partner in co-creation. And if you could accept that and appreciate the diversity of desires and beliefs, all of you would have a more expansive, satisfying, fulfilling experience. This business and we're giving you more than you're asking for here, but there is some of that at the root of your question. physical beings quite often believe that they are wanting sameness. In other words, inherent in your question is a hope that the energy that is coming forth within this being and the energy that will be within the being of this next child will be very compatible energy with that which you are. But think about what that's actually saying. That's actually saying, please, I am wanting circumstances that when I observe them will be pleasing to me. And physical beings believe, and we acknowledge it too, that if the circumstances that surrounded you were all perfect by your standards, or even what you would call pleasant, that it would be easier for you to have positive emotion. In other words, it's much easier to have a positive response to a positive experience than it is to maintain a positive response to a not positive experience. But from the non-physical perspective, you said, it doesn't matter the experience. I will sharpen my teeth on the experience of contrast, which will help me to be more defining of what I am wanting, and out of the contrast will erupt desire, which I will vibrationally maintain harmony with, and in doing so we will take thought beyond that which it has been. To exaggerate this, you may have heard us teasing about this. Jerry and Esther were at an airport a while back waiting for the baggage to come off, and as they are standing there, Esther said, what would it be like if they'd all looked the same? Many of them do. Esther ordered some great big luggage tags out of a catalog that are bright red and say Hicks in big letters. They can be seen from a very far away. They can always see their bags coming down the conveyor belt. But Esther is plain. What if all the bags looked the same? And then she said, what if all the people looked the same? What if all the cars on the highway looked exactly the same? What if there were only one color? What if everything was the same color? What if everything in the room was this color? It'd be hard to pick out the noses and the eyes and the mouths, wouldn't it? What if everything was the same, you say? And then she took it a little further. What if all the people looked the same? How would I find you? She said to Jerry. And he, playing along with the absurdity of it, said, well, if they were all the same, it wouldn't matter. You could just take anybody home. In other words, it would be the same experience, in other words. Well, we are pushing the absurdity there a little bit.
I see.
But physical beings really believe that sameness is what they're shooting for. In other words, wouldn't it be nice if everything was just the way I like it, so that I would never ever have reason to have a negative response? And we say, as you diminish contrast, you diminish your ability to decide. And as you diminish your ability to decide, you diminish your ability to focus. And as you diminish your ability to focus, you do away with your reason for existing, you see. And so we think that the perfect place to stand as this expectant parent is to say, there is non-physical energy about to come forth, and I know that this energy is pure positive energy. I know that this energy that is coming forth into this child knows that all is well. And it is my dominant desire to get myself as much to that place of knowing all is well, too, so that we will have that harmony. And it's really going to be fun to mix it up. In other words, I'm not saying I want this child to want everything that I want, or believe everything that I believe, or to go everywhere that I go, or to do everything that I do. I want a healthy, vital, alive, adventurous, joyous being to come forth, and I'm going to do my very best to stay out of the way of that pure positive energy.
That's a toughie. What about, I always try to use animals as an example because they are pure positive energy.
For the most part.
For the most part.
Except when they're influenced by one of you.
I see them protecting their young and trying to keep their young from danger and what they think is right.
Well, are they protecting from danger, or are they promoting the physical? Are they going to what they want, or are they pushing against what they don't want? You see, humans assume they're pushing against what they don't want when that is not what is happening. In other words, you see, the animals.
Okay.
Consider these thoughts. You've heard them before, but let's put them into this discussion for sake of stirring the pot a little bit. In the human or physical world, you hear the expression survival of the fittest. And what that means is a desire for a consistent perpetuation of the species. In other words, an understanding of well-being and an always moving toward that greater end. in the human realm, it is almost as if you see it in opposite terms, as you are trying to support the less fit. In other words, there's almost a perpetuation of the weakest by trying to push down on its behalf other things. So you perpetuate your weakest rather than helping your strongest to survive. You get the sense of what we're talking about? It's a touchy issue. It's another one of those that get us if they could. In other words, mass consciousness is really not ready to hear that. And yet, can you feel how it dovetails into what we're talking about here? Those pure positive energy beasts understand that all is well, and they're not trying to protect their young from death because they understand there is not death. They're just trying to support or promote their young in the continuation of this physical experience. Big difference between moving toward what you do want and pushing against what you don't. And if you could talk to the animals, as we have talked to some of these animals, and we say that lovingly, the beasts of your planet are our pure positive energy friends. As you chat with each other and as you listen to each other even in a forum like this, you can hear how often the physical human is not projecting what they're saying, while the beast isn't saying anything and is always projecting a pure vibration.
Does the beast attract the hunter to them?
Yes.
To go back to the non-physical, that's fine with them?
To be part of the process. In other words, by the hunter, it sounded as if you meant the human hunter, or did you mean the...
I meant the human hunter. I think of them as pure positive energy, and I know that the murderer and the murderee attract each other to each other. Then how can something that has pure positive energy, such as a beast, attract somebody that's going to kill it?
It's interesting. Your terminology is very good, very telling. As physical beings hunt, the label murderer seems to apply. As the lion hunts, you are less willing to, then it's survival of the fittest.
The lion's not going to put him up on the wall like the hunter would. So I see that the lion has to hunt to survive. I don't see that the hunter has to hunt to survive. That's my differentiation.
And it is a good one. Often physical humans will say, Abraham, will there ever be a time when man will not hunt for food or for trophy? In other words, when the hunting will stop. And we say, it is conceivable that you could get enough laws and enough rules and enough enforcers of them that you could stop anybody from doing anything publicly. They will always do it privately. But we don't think you would ever get a consensus among the animals. In other words, the big fish will continue to eat the small fish, and the lion will continue to eat the gazelle. In other words, and the reason is because it is all part of the process of perpetuation. It's part of the expansion of the experience. And because the animal understands that there is no death, there is no separation in consciousness, the animal does not see death as a bad thing. See, and maybe the hunter doesn't either. Maybe the hunter understands the perpetuation of that. Maybe the hunter understands that there is balance in all things. Maybe the hunter even has some sense of non-physical influence that is inspiring the hunt. In other words, there are many parts of your population where the deer are becoming more than the population is wanting to support. And Esther has only recently stopped yelling, "Run, Bambi, run," as she drives through the neighborhood and sees the deer and the hunters. In other words, she is finally coming into alignment that it is all right, that these beasts are coming forth in order to support the perpetuation. In other words, where do you draw these lines? From the non-physical, you know that there is life in all things. And from the non-physical, you understand that as much life is breathed into and pulses through the apple as the Bambi. You see what we're getting at? So when you come into harmony to understand that all is well and that this balance is consistent and you no longer are pushing against anything but flowing with it, then you find yourself maybe even being a hunter and being in harmony with core energy.